The part that I struggle with is that I was on my own show at a young age and thought my career after it would be nothing but uphill. And
Jack, come on. I'm sorry. I really no.
And it's a FaceTime? Really?
you can't silence a computer.
Come on. You got to put that on Do Not Disturb.
I am so sorry.
It's okay.
I am so sorry. It's usually Graham.
Yeah, exactly.
Sean Rizwan, if you're watching this, man, come
Sean
on.
called?
It was Sean. Yeah.
Sean, you fucking blew it, man.
Okay. All right. Let's get back to it. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. There's a couple remnants of my childhood ego that I struggle with, and one of them is that I booked my own show. I was the lead on my own show. And so I knew 100%, like I am meant to do and be great in this industry that I love. Like I'm meant to be in movies that are great. I'm meant to be in more shows that are great. And I still haven't done anything as big as Ned's. And that is some weird thing to reckon with that continues to humble me. In good ways, I think. Like, I like who I am. I think my character is developed, but I still have this part of me that is like, no, I'm meant to be on all the things. I'm supposed to be in this industry, and I caught it at such a young age. For me, it was supposed to continue forever, and it hasn't. But I'm still gonna do it for the rest of my life.
Well, let's go back. How did you get started in acting?
I was just a little ham. I was just a kid who loved attention and loved being funny. I just loved movies, and my parents saw it and they were like, do you want to do community theater or something? Do you want to do something with this? Like I watched Austin Powers and Ace Ventura.
Good movies,
yeah, and I would just recite them at 6 years old. I used to have a photographic memory, kind of. I would see a movie and just be able to recite most of it. And my parents were like, yeah, that's not normal. Do you want to do theater? And I was like, yeah. And then did theater for a while. And the theater people were like, do you want to audition for commercials, movies, TV? And I was like, yeah. And did that. And then that led to LA, and that led to Ned's, and yeah.
Now, what do you mean that led to LA? So you didn't grow up in LA, correct?
No, grew up in Georgia,
Right.
suburbs of Atlanta, which is now a big entertainment town.
Yeah.
It's like East Hollywood now, but it wasn't then. It was a right to work state then, which meant non-union. And so if the union isn't there, no one, only non-union projects are filming there, which is cheap and smaller independent stuff. So when I was there wasn't a lot of work there, but that's where I lived. So that's where I was auditioning. And I booked a small role in a movie called We Were Soldiers. It was a Mel Gibson film. And
how did you book that?
That was just casting out of there.
Really?
It's just.
Did you know going in it was going to be like a Mel Gibson film?
Yeah.
Or you did?
Yeah. That was just through my agents out there. I was a kid. I was just going and doing it. I
How
didn't
old
really. 10.
9.
And that would have been Mel Gibson was at his peak at that time.
Oh, prime.
Too. Yeah.
We Were Soldiers it's a great film.
Yeah.
And he was making it with Randall Wallace, who wrote Braveheart with him.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was and huge cast. And they were casting his kids out of Georgia because they were shooting in Fort Benning, Georgia. So booked that small role, big movie. And that led my Atlanta agents to ask, do you want to go to LA for pilot season? We think you should. We have a connection with an agent out there. And yeah, man.
What did that look like? Was that Ned's Declassified? Or not yet?
No, my first pilot season was just auditions. I did an independent movie and some things. And then my second pilot season was Ned's.
And how did that work? Were you just flying back and forth between Georgia, LA?
Yep. Yeah, so it was me and my mom. My dad and sister would stay in Georgia. Pilot season used to be this thing in LA that it's not anymore. Pilot season used to be the time of the year when most auditions were happening, when most pilots were being cast, most new shows. There was a season of it. It was January to April. And that was the time for auditions. And then a little bit in September. So people from all over the country, that would be the time. You'd come and you'd come for those 4 months. And that would be when you would hit all the auditions and then go back to wherever the hell you came from.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's not that. With streaming, everything's all the time. But yeah, so we'd come out for 4 months and then go back to Georgia and then come back out, booked Ned's, shot that.
What were you doing for school, by the way, at that time?
So during Ned's, I
Yeah.
was homeschooled 6 months of the year while we shot Ned's, and I was back in my public middle school in Georgia.
So you were actual middle schooler while you were shooting.
Yeah,
Neds.
and I was the same age I was on the show. So Ned was in 6th grade, I was in 6th grade. Ned was in 7th grade, I was in 7th grade. Ned was in 8th, I was in 8th.
What?
Yeah.
How was that? Were the people
great.
in your school being like, yo, that
Only for like a moment when I would
Yeah.
first get there, and then you're just like in school, you know, like kids. The novelty like wears off very quickly, and then you're just another student, you know. And people are judging you not based on that, but on like, do I like this person or not?
Sure.
Like, you know, do we have
Okay.
connection or not? And I think that, like, I had a really good version of the child acting industry, and I think that was part of it. Was I'd come out here and do LA, and then I'd go back and live like the life that I grew up in with my friends in my hometown in public school for half the year. And I think that was like a nice balance of both. It would really ground me to go back home. So that ego thing like was less
No, that
in
sounds
play. You know?
that sounds smart. And also while you were in middle school, since you were also playing the same, obviously in the show, did you ever have experiences in middle school where you're like, I could pitch this because this is a funny like thing that occurred?
No, it's like, it's on the writers, man. Like they have a whole team of writers who have lived a lot of life and are very funny people, and they had it. For me, it was more just getting excited to see what they were writing for us, because Ned's was so funny and so zany, and we always got to do crazy shit. I mean, the show was a blast. It was basically a cartoon that we filmed with real people, but the size of the jokes and the size of the world was cartoon. So yeah, it was more just exciting every table read and every season, seeing what we got to do. I mean, even going through the rewatch pod now, I haven't watched these episodes in so long, and now I'm watching through them. And even in the first season, like the amount of like gags we're doing and like stunts, and I'm in like a giant beach ball, and we have like this mop bucket slingshot thing, and like everything's just so off the wall. It was always great getting episodes, like always great seeing what the new jokes were going to be.
So how did